All right, we're only 9 days out of East versus West 19, the strongest arm on earth. So let's do a prediction video on all the matches here. Who I actually think would win if I had to put money on it, not who I would support to win, just who I would logically think would win. So let's start with the Joselyn Bree versus Gabriella Vasanelos. I gotta say, Gabriella, she has more experience. I think Joselyn has a bigger frame and a significant amount of potential, that's for sure. Coming from a strength background, I'm pretty sure she's still pretty new in the sport, but go with Gabriella based on the experience. Then we got Saray Brown versus Derek Smith. I've pulled both of these guys. I think Saray is in a pretty good shape right now. He trains with Brian Shaw. I think he's probably really motivated to win this match. This is a big opportunity for him, so I'm going to go with Saray to win this one. Lawrence Shalet versus Martins Leis. For me, I'll have to say Lawrence, just because he's been arm wrestling longer than Martins. I think he started a couple years ago or so. Martins, I think, is a bit newer, so I think I got to go with Lawrence, although Martins looked pretty good at the Anaheim Fit Expo, the amateur class the other day. But I'll go with Lawrence. Ricard Bornman versus Pavlo Durbedyev. Ricard is definitely the future absolute prodigy, but I've got to go with Pavlo based on the experience and his strength. I mean, his riser lift is insane, pronation lift insane, just ridiculously strong, and he's got good experience. He's pulled guys like John Brzezinski in a super match and other absolute monsters. So I think Ricard has a massive future, but I think Pavlo probably win this one. Todd Hutchings versus Dave Chafee. Dave Chafee has won pretty much all the times they've faced in the past, I believe, and even tore Todd's bicep. But I think Todd somehow is in the best shape of his life, and in incredible shape. The way he's been looking the past couple of years has been pretty phenomenal. So I'll say Todd Hutchings, although definitely wouldn't be too surprised if Dave just flashes him each round and wins. But I'll say Todd Hutchings is able to get a stop at some point and turn it around based on endurance and win the match. Matt Mask versus Philip Larson. This is a good one. This is definitely an exciting one. Two top rollers going at it. I mean, just based on the weight advantage and how confident Philip has been talking on some podcasts recently, and based on their practice poll, where they were kind of going back and forth, but I think that was like 8 or 9 months ago or something. And Philip, since he's new, he's probably increasing at a faster rate than Matt, who's been in the sport multiple decades. So I will say Philip, based on the weight advantage, and I think he'll edge it out slightly. But obviously, you cannot count out Matt Mask whatsoever. He might be looking to make a statement and come in hot and just destroy him. But I'll say Philip. I'll say Philip on this match. Now we got Eddie Hall versus Robert Oburst. Robert has been training in Idaho with Alan Fisher. I think he's been training maybe a little over a year, maybe more than that. I'm not sure exactly how consistent, but he's been pretty consistent recently on a podcast. He said he's training like 3 to 4 times a week on the table, something like that. But Eddie Hall, I think, has a little more experience, and I'll just say Eddie Hall on this. I don't really know where Robert Oburst is at. We haven't really seen much footage. Eddie came off that Brian Shaw match. He's probably been training pretty good with Neil Pickup over there. So I'll say Eddie Hall will win that. Now, of course, we got Devin Larratt versus Alex Krdecha, both arms. I think Devin's going to win on both arms. You guys agree with that? What do you guys think? We'll find out. I think the left match could be closer, of course, if Alex makes some adjustments, but still I think Devin wins on both arms. Now we got what should probably be the main event, Brandon Allen versus Brian Shaw. This will be very, very exciting. I think I got to go with my buddy Brandon Allen. He's got more experience, and I know when he's peaked and he comes in a really good shape, he's 300 plus pounds, that he's pretty serious, especially if you don't know how to deal with a king's move and climb around it, be patient. I think that could be a problem for Brian, although he's been very, very disciplined in his training. And even on a podcast the other day, Saray was saying, just talking how highly of Brian is able to do in practice. And I know Saray has a decent he has like a kind of a king's move style as well. So maybe that will help Brian in the fact that he's trained against someone who has a similar outside style. So, but I think it's just a little too soon, but who knows? Brian might just have way too much overall strength and hand and wrist to just completely negate everything Brandon's trying to do. But I'm going to say Brandon will win based on the experience. He beat Larry Wheels when Larry was pretty new in the sport. Brian, pretty new in the sport now. So I think not quite going to win this match. Hopefully it's a close match for all the fans to get an exciting match to watch, but I'm picking Brandon to win. So to recap all my picks here, Gabriella, Saray, Lawrence, Pavlo, Todd, Philip, Eddie, Devin, and Brandon. So do you guys agree? Let me know in the comment section, and we'll find out in about 9 days.